counting down the 10 Appalachian research and military zones most Americans have never set foot in. From radio-silent valleys and Cold War listening posts to underground government bunkers and presidential retreats, these sites were chosen for reasons outsiders rarely hear: strategic geology, national defense, and scientific discovery. Why did planners pick these very mountains, hiding technology and secrets right under our noses? Let's begin the countdown, starting with number 10. In the 10th place, the National Radio Quiet Zone stretches across 13,000 square miles of the Allegheny Mountains, where federal law has enforced radio silence since 1958. The FCC docket 11745 carved out this vast region to protect the Green Bank Observatory, home to the world's largest fully steerable radio telescope. Mountain ridgelines here act as natural barriers, blocking radio signals from the outside world, a deliberate choice that makes this valley the quietest place in America. Within a 10-mile radius, the West Virginia Radio Astronomy Zoning Act allows officials to restrict any electrical device that might interfere, from microwaves to standard Wi-Fi. Diesel vehicles are used near the telescope because spark plugs emit radio interference. In 2024, local debates over broadband access led to a limited Wi-Fi pilot, but the mountain's shielding remains the foundation. This is where the land itself keeps the universe's faintest signals within reach. Number 9. Sugar Grove Station sits hidden in the same West Virginia mountains as the National Radio Quiet Zone. But its mission was never about listening to the stars. Built by the Department of Defense in 1963, this facility operated as a Navy NSA signals intelligence post, quietly intercepting satellite communications throughout the Cold War. The absolute radio silence enforced here was not just for science, it was essential for national security. While the Green Bank Observatory searched for cosmic signals, Sugar Grove's antenna fields scanned for threats, shielded by the same ridgelines that block outside interference. Zone 3 restrictions meant no unauthorized radio emissions, no exceptions. After decades of classified operations, the site's main mission ended in 1998, with the government shifting to maintenance-only status by 2024. Yet the mountains remain, chosen for their silence and their secrecy, a reminder that these valleys have served both science and defense right under our noses. Mount Weather stands deep within the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, just 48 miles from Washington, D.C. Excavation began in 1952, carving more than 600,000 square feet of command centers, living quarters, and medical facilities directly into the granite. By 1955, the complex was operational, shielded by more than 300 feet of solid rock, chosen for its ability to absorb shock and resist electromagnetic pulses. The Federal Emergency Management Agency lists Mount Weather as its emergency operations facility, a continuity of government site designed to keep the nation's leadership functioning in a crisis. Its existence became public knowledge in 1974, but the details remain classified. In 2024, FEMA initiated new upgrades, reinforcing the site's infrastructure for modern threats. The geology of these mountains is the reason this command center is here. No other region on the East Coast offers such natural protection. Number 7. Raven Rock Mountain Complex sits deep beneath the Catoctin Mountains of Pennsylvania, shielded by some of the hardest greenstone on the East Coast. In 1951, President Truman authorized the construction of this underground stronghold, and workers blasted out 265,000 cubic yards of solid rock to create 5 parallel caverns, each 3 stories high and connected by reinforced tunnels. By 1962, the site became the alternate National Military Command Center, the Pentagon's backup nerve center for command continuity in a national crisis. Garrett Graff, in his 2017 book called Raven Rock's Geology Unmatched for Survival, This is not a production facility or a munitions plant, it's the command post built to outlast anything above ground. The choice of location was no accident. These mountains offered the most secure natural fortress for America's highest level command, a power hidden in plain sight. Number 6. The Y-12 National Security Complex sits in the heart of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, shielded by the steep ridges of the Appalachian foothills. Established in 1943 as part of the Manhattan Project, Y-12 was at the center of a city so secret that 75,000 people lived and worked behind guarded gates, most unaware of the full mission. Here, enriched uranium for the nation's first atomic weapons was produced, with each production area separated by more than half a mile of rugged terrain, a natural containment system designed to isolate any incident and keep operations invisible from above. Today, Y-12 remains the United States' sole facility for processing and storing strategic nuclear materials, a role reinforced by a $1.2 billion modernization contract awarded in 2024. The valleys and ridges of Appalachia weren't chosen by chance. They offered the security, isolation, and protection that no flatland could provide, turning this landscape into a cornerstone of national defense. Number 5. The Greenbrier Bunker lies hidden beneath the luxury resort at White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. Built in secret from 1959 to 1962, this 112,000 square foot facility, codenamed Project Greek Island, was designed to shelter all 535 members of Congress during a national emergency. The bunker included 1,100 beds, its own power plant, water purification system, and air filtration, making it fully self-sustaining. For 30 years, guests danced and dined above one of America's most classified shelters, unaware of the concrete blast doors and decontamination chambers below. In May 1992, Washington Post reporter Ted Gupp revealed the facility's existence, prompting the government to decommission it immediately. Today, parts of the bunker are open for guided tours, but the core remains off-limits. The decision to build here was no accident, because the surrounding mountains offered natural concealment and protection, blending civilian life with the nation's contingency planning. Number 4. The Radford Army Ammunition Plant stretches across 4,600 acres along Virginia's New River, serving as the nation's only producer of military-grade nitrocellulose propellants. Since breaking ground in 1941, this plant has operated without pause, supplying every branch of the armed forces with the explosive charge behind every bullet and shell. The geography here is no accident. The steep mountain walls and deep valley form a natural containment area, isolating each production zone and minimizing risk beyond the fence line. Today, Radford manufactures 29 different propellant formulations, from artillery to missile fuel, under strict Army oversight. FAA restricted airspace keeps unauthorized flights away, underscoring the site's critical status. In 2024, the Department of Defense approved a $350 million modernization contract, reinforcing Radford's role as the backbone of America's munitions supply. Every round fired by U.S. forces starts in this Appalachian Valley, proof that these mountains were chosen to serve, not just to stand. Coming to the top 3, the Holston Army Ammunition Plant stands along the Holston River in Kingsport, Tennessee, a 6,000-acre complex that has defined the nation's supply of high-energy explosives since 1942. During World War II, Holston's production reached a staggering 1.1 million pounds per day by January 1944, setting a record for defense output. Today, it remains the sole U.S. source for RDX and HMX energetic materials, supplying not only every branch of the American military, but also providing approximately 90% of these compounds to allied nations. FAA restricted airspace and defensive measures keep the facility secure, while a $500 million modernization contract approved in 2024 signals ongoing investment in this strategic monopoly. The choice of site was no accident. The river corridor and surrounding Appalachian ridges provide a natural buffer, isolating the world's most critical explosives production zone from outside threats. Number 2. Dolly Soddy's wilderness in West Virginia's Monongahela National Forest looks like untouched high country, with red spruce forests and open bogs stretching across the plateau. But beneath the windswept landscape lies a hidden legacy. From 1943 to 1945, the U.S. Army used Dolly Sods as an artillery and mortar training range. Unexploded ordnance remains scattered below the surface, a reminder of the site's wartime mission. When the area was added to the National Forest in 1975, the U.S. Forest Service began periodic clearance efforts, but advisories still warn hikers to stay on marked trails. In 2024, visitor notices emphasize the ongoing risk and the importance of respecting posted boundaries. Concrete foundations and scattered debris can still be found among the wildflowers. Decades later, the land bears quiet witness to its military past, proof that even the most pristine corners of Appalachia have served the nation in ways few realize. And finally, in first place, Camp David stands atop Catoctin Mountain in Maryland as the nation's most secure presidential retreat. Built by the Works Progress Administration in 1935, this site became Franklin D. Roosevelt's mountain hideaway, first called Shangri-La, before President Eisenhower renamed it Camp David in 1953. Since then, more than 30 international summits and historic negotiations have taken place behind its gates. The facility's official designation as Naval Support Facility Thurmont came in 1977, with the United States Marine Corps providing round-the-clock security. FAA regulations enforce a permanent no-fly zone overhead. The rugged greenstone ridge beneath Camp David adds an extra layer of natural defense, making this Appalachian stronghold the chosen refuge for every president since World War II. Here, the mountains themselves serve the highest office, a final testament to why this land was chosen above all others. Across all 10 sites, one pattern is clear. The Appalachian Mountains weren't chosen by chance. Their stone silence and valleys make them America's natural fortress, shielding secrets and safeguarding the nation. Right under our noses, these mountains quietly do what no other land can. That's their legacy,